Hey there, my friend. You are listening to CEO Soapbox podcast with Neda Farzad, episode number 7. I'm so glad you could join me again on my soapbox. Today, we are taking a sledgehammer to one of the most untouchable beliefs out there, the concept of work life balance. We're told to find it, to protect it, to achieve it, but what if the whole idea is a setup for failure? This work life balance, a total myth. It's the grown up version of believing in unicorns. Sounds magical, never shows up in real life. I know, I checked. I asked. Here's where I stand with this myth. So instead of chasing that fairy tale, let's talk about what actually works, which is, in my opinion, managing your energy, riding out the work life seasons, and making work and life play nicely together. Forget about the balance. It's all about integration. So, in this episode, we're going to dismantle this myth piece by piece. We'll talk about why the idea of balance is so damaging, especially for ambitious people. We'll redefine the goal, shifting from balance to things you can actually control, like your energy and your focus. And I'll share some real practical ways to integrate your work and your life so they don't feel like they're in a constant cage match together. By the end, you learn how to rethink your approach and how to thrive by managing energy, embracing seasons, and integrating your life and work. So let's start with why this balance thing is such a bullshit. You see, the image it creates is of a perfectly still scale, with work on one side and life on the other. So it implies that if you give a little extra energy to your business or your career, which is your work side, then you take away from your life side, your family, your health. This sets up a zero sum game, which is a fancy way of saying you're always destined to lose. For ambitious people, for founders, for executives, this is an impossible standard. You see, your business isn't just a 9 to 5 job, it's part of you. You don't just switch off your brain at 5 p.m. You know that great idea you had in the shower? Is that work or life? That weekend coffee meeting with a potential partner, was that work or was that life? The model is broken because it suggests a clean separation that is just not possible for people to manage. The pursuit of this mythical balance leads to constant guilt. And we all experience it, right? You feel guilty when you're working late because, hang on, now you're out of balance. You feel guilty when you're on holiday and thinking about a business problem and you just checked your phone about it because, hang on, you're failing to switch off during the family holiday. It's a cycle of self-beating based on a standard that was never achievable in the first place. My friend, I think it's about time to throw the whole concept in the bin. So if balance is the wrong goal, what is the right one? Glad you asked. In my experience, it comes down to 3 things, which is energy management, life and work seasons, and integration. Don't worry, I'm going to go through them one by one. First, we're going to go through energy management. So forget about managing your time. Manage your energy. You have a finite amount of physical, mental, and emotional energy every day. It's not infinite, it's finite. The real question isn't, am I spending 8 hours on work now? Does this mean I must spend 8 hours at life because I'm tired and it just seems out of balance? So the question should be, are the things I'm doing energizing me or draining me? For example, a 2-hour deep work session on a project you love might be less draining than a 30 minutes on admin tasks you despise. Hang on, we all been there, right? Or a 1-hour gym session gives you energy for the rest of the day, and a toxic client call can drain you for hours. The goal is to maximize your energizers and minimize your drainers across both work and life. And trust me, you just have to manage your energy. You don't have control over some of these things. You only have control over energy, and you're managing your energy and your focus. Second, work and life seasons. You see, your life and your business operate in seasons. There is a launch season where you're going to be all in, working like a madman, mad person. It's a sprint. To expect balance during a product launch or any kind of business requirements is delusional. But that season has to be followed by the season of recovery. You got to remember that. If you're going all in like a mad person, you have to follow it with a season of recovery. Then there are seasons where your family, your life needs you more. Perhaps with a new baby, holiday season, or family illness. You step away from work. The mistake is thinking you have a summer level social life during a winter level work push. You need to acknowledge the season you're in and give yourself permission to be fully in it. And finally is the integration. Instead of seeing work and life as two separate parts at odds with each other, see how can you integrate them. Okay, I'm not talking about answering emails while you're playing with your kid. I'm not talking about that because there has to be a separate balance with that. I'm talking about finding overlaps. For example, can you take a work call while going for a walk to get exercise? Or, I don't know, can you bring your family on a business trip and add a weekend of fun? Can your passion for a hobby helps and improve your business strategy in the long run? It's all about creating a life where different pieces complement each other rather than competing with each other. I know you're saying this is all sound great, but how do you actually do it? Let's get practical, Neda. All right, I am going to get practical. So I'm about to share 4 ways that have worked wonders for me, and you can absolutely start using them today. Of course, you're going to go through this, and I understand every situation, every life situation, work situation is unique. So feel free to take these ideas, but I want you to tweak them and truly make them about your own. What I'm hoping for you to achieve is to look outside the box you're in. So my fab 4 ways I mentioned. Number 1, this is my favorite and it's probably the hardest. The ruthless no. The key to managing energy is to protecting it. Let me repeat that. The key for us to manage our energy is to protect our energy. Get brutally honest about what you say, when you say yes, and what you say yes to. Every time you say yes to something, you're basically saying no to something else. If a request doesn't align with your goals for the current season and doesn't give you energy, the default answer should be a polite but firm no. Number 2 is the theme days. I'm going to go through it and you might go, doesn't apply to me, but I want you to I want you to think about it more. So what I mean by theme days, instead of trying to do everything every day, try theming your days. Monday could be for internal team meetings. Tuesday for deep creative work or strategy sessions. Wednesday could be for client calls. This allows you to focus your energy in one direction for a whole day, which is far more efficient than constantly switching contexts. Next one is a boundary ritual. So a hard stop at 5 p.m. might not work for you depending on your job. But instead, create a ritual that signals a transition. Maybe a 5-minute walk at the end of the day. Maybe it's putting your laptop in a drawer so it's physically out of sight. So what this ritual do, it helps your brain switch modes more effectively rather than just watching a clock and stressing out. Number 4 is embrace trade-offs. You cannot have it all at once. This is another bullshit lie we've been told, especially as women. And that's okay. Deciding to go all in on a business launch might mean you miss a few dinners at home. That's a trade-off. Deciding to take every Friday off to be with your kids or have a me time might mean that you have to add an extra hour or two to a couple of work days. That's also a trade-off. Be conscious and deliberate about the trade-offs you're making rather than pretending you don't have to make them. Own your choices and stick with them. These are the things you have control over. All right. I can already hear some of you rolling your eyes. Let me address some of the common comments and concerns and objections I often receive when I talk about work and life integration and not balance. So, number one is, but I need balance to avoid burnout. I'd argue the opposite. You see, chasing an impossible ideal of balance is your fast track to burnout because you always feel like you're failing because there's no way you can achieve that. Burnout doesn't come from working hard, my friend. It comes from feeling like your hard work is pointless or that you have no control over things in your life. Managing your energy, working in the seasons, and feeling in control of your integrated work and life is the best antidote to burnout there is. Trust me. Another big objection I get is, what about my family? Don't they deserve a balance from me? You see, what your family deserves is you who is fully present, not a permanently stressed out you who's feeling guilty all the time. Being fully present for a 2-hour family dinner because you've designed your day to allow for it is much better than being physically present for 4 hours while your mind is elsewhere, checking your phone constantly and then worrying about, hang on, am I being balanced? I'm just imbalanced. I'm not here. Integration means communicating your seasons to your family or to your work. For example, for the next 2 weeks, I am in a project launch. It's going to be intense, honey, and I might not be available to spend as much time as I want with you. But after that, we are taking a long weekend away, just us. You see, it works. Last one is, isn't this just a fancy excuse to be workaholic? Absolutely not. Let's just be clear. A workaholic to me is someone who works compulsively, often without a purpose, as an escape. This is the opposite. This is about being incredibly intentional and strategic about where and how you spend your energy. It's about designing a life that works for you, which for many of us might be meaning less total work hours, but more impactful work or whatever it is. It's the difference between being busy and being productive. So you might be saying, why do you strongly believe that work-life balance is a myth and is a big lie? So let's get personal because I'm about to tell you a story as to how the lie of work-life balance nearly took me out. So nearly 3 years ago when my baby girl was born, I told myself, believing this lie, I could keep running my business at full throttle and be a brand new parent who've never been a parent before and I have no idea what I'm doing, all without missing a beat. I became obsessed with the idea of balance. So I started work after 1 month when she was born. I'll be answering emails at 3:30 a.m. in the morning when she has her last feed in the early morning. Then sneaking in work while she was napping, stopping whenever she was up, trying to be present for dinner with my partner, then jump back online to check Teams for any project update or have my meetings. I was exhausted, stretched, and worst of all, starting to feel resentful. Honestly, I felt like I was failing everywhere, at work, at home, and as a mum. Then came the wake-up call, literally. So one day driving on the freeway, the stress caught up with me. Talk about close call. 1 minute I was driving, the next my body decided to go on a strike. I came out of my blackout to a symphony of screeching tires, not ideal, trust me, as other cars played dodgeball around my car, I narrowly missed a rather dramatic plunge over the bridge. Apparently, even unconscious me has some pretty impressive steering skill. I know it's not funny, but somehow I realized what was happening, and I managed to navigate myself to the hospital, to the emergency room, and said I blacked out behind the wheel. I was there for a night, connected to all these machines, checking my heart, what was going on, and test after test. The verdict? My body had finally put its foot down. The doctor told me flat out the relentless pressure, the lack of rest, the emotional overload. I was dangerously close to disaster. I was told that I was lucky to be alive, not being hurt, and even luckier that I hadn't hurt anyone else. That was the moment I decided to throw this work-life balance rule book out the window. I realized my top priority needed to be showing up fully for myself, my daughter, my partner, and then my business. So I structured my days, different work hours and set work hours, certain days, making rest non-negotiable and refusing to squeeze work into every spare minutes. The payoff, I still work. I still have to work certain hours. I still have to be productive, but my stress are lower. My work actually improved because I can focus when I was on. And I was far better mom because I was actually present with my little girl and my family. Not just being nearby with my mind elsewhere. It wasn't balance. It was a real integration of understanding what it needed from me, where my life was, my work, my personal life, my work, my business, and everything else. So I designed it around what was happening, the true, and not some impossible standard bullshit they feed you. You see, I cannot express it enough that the concept of work-life balance is a trap, especially for high achievers. It sets an impossible standard that leads to guilt and burnout. The path forward isn't about dividing your life into two perfect halves. It's just not possible. But it's about smartly integrating it into a cohesive whole. Stop chasing balance and start focusing on what you can control, which are, again, I feel like a broken record. It's your energy, your life and work seasons, and your boundaries. Be intentional, make conscious trade-offs, and design a life that aligns with your priorities. It is possible. Thanks for hopping on the soapbox with me today. Always great to have your company. If anything I said resonated or made you go, interesting, go ahead and press that subscribe button. And why not share this with someone who'd enjoy it too? Want to keep the conversation going? Or maybe you think I deserve a little friendly pushback? Either way, let's connect. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just search for Neda Farzad, and that's Neda Farzad, or Instagram and Facebook under Neda Farzad Official. Wishing you an amazing week ahead. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind. Bye for now.